So a bit of a random, more vague topic here today, but I was inspired by a comment that my buddy Caracles left on the video that I posted about how clicking the upload button can be hard. And it kind of made me want to talk about this a little more, even if it is vague. Maybe this will resonate with some people, maybe it won't really resonate with anyone. I've come to learn that having a passion is actually very rare. Like that's not something that everyone has, you know? I was always a very creatively driven kid growing up. I liked a lot of things like movies and TV shows and video games. And so I pretty quickly found passions for things that I enjoyed. And I didn't realize until I was a teenager going into my young adult life that not everyone has a passion. And I guess I should clarify, like, what do I mean by a passion, right? A passion isn't, to me at least, isn't just an interest. It's not just like, oh, I like playing Destiny, or I like going to the movies, right? Maybe a better word is like an aspiration. That's probably a better word than just saying passion. Because you can have a passion for something and not want to aspire to do that thing like all the time or as a job. So maybe aspiration is the better word. I mean, something that you are so drawn to, something that you really, really care about, that just kind of speaks to the soul, right? Something you feel so strongly that you want or need to achieve because you care so much about it. For me, that passion, that aspiration is animation and storytelling. Like on my main channel, my Destiny channel, I have this animated series that I'm working on called Redacted, and that is truly my passion. The thing that it's a lot of work, but it brings me so much joy that it often doesn't feel like work. And when I think about it, when I think about that series, I'm like, I need to see this through. Like this has kind of transcended a want. We can broaden that reach to just like content creation in general, right? Like I really like making content. It's fun, but it's not just fun. I really truly love it. Like I really, really enjoy it. It's not just a fun pastime. For some people, that's drawing. For some people, that's writing. And it doesn't even have to be like creative things, right? It can be very, quote, tangible, real things. Like, I don't know, being a politician. I'm sorry, I can't say that without laughing. Maybe you want to be an accountant. Maybe you want to go work with numbers. You're just like, I fucking love numbers, bro. Like, numbers just speak to my soul, and I want to solve all of the calculated, tangible problems in the world that I can. Like, maybe that's your passion, right? Maybe that's something you just really, truly love. I guess I've just come to realize that there are a lot of people that kind of coast through life, going by the numbers, taking the steps everyone expects you to take, and just doing enough to get by, but not ever really feeling fulfilled. And I don't say that in a judgy way. And ultimately, you know, unfortunately, not everyone's passion or dream is necessarily going to happen. You know, that's the sad reality of it. And that's why a lot of people will let go of these passions and these dreams from a relatively young age, because it seems so unattainable. Like what if your passion is to become a director? I bring that up because I'd like to do that. That would be really cool. I'd like to direct something, right? A lot of people, I think, just sort of accept that that's not going to happen relatively early, and they kind of write it out and like, okay, well, I guess I should just go do something normal, you know, something that is more guaranteed, you know, in this job market. But I guess I've always been in the mentality of, if you really have a passion for something, if you really know you want to do something really speaks to your soul, and you think you would be good at it, you should hold on to that. Like, you should pursue that. That's important. If at the end of your life, you would look back and on some level regret not doing that thing, you should probably do it. And I'm not saying like throw your whole life away, put all your eggs into one basket. Like I said, sometimes things just don't work out. We also live in an age where if you're smart about things, and if you know how to navigate the internet and social spheres, a lot more people can achieve a lot more things than we previously could, you know? And again, it is totally fine if your passion is like, well, if you just want to farm, you're like, man, I'd make a banging farmer. I just want to farm. I want to have a nice cozy farm with my animals and my family, like that's fantastic. That's great. And that can also be an aspiration, you know? It doesn't have to be these hyper, you know, creative or experimental, I guess, you know, non-traditional paths. But I think it is important for most people to find that aspiration, that passion, that thing that just lights a fire under your ass, makes you want to get up in the morning, right? Maybe this isn't healthy, but like I go to bed and I just want to keep working. my mind keeps going back to like scenes I have ideas for, or wanting to keep making these characters and this animation, this story better. Sure, parts of it aren't healthy, but in my mind, I can't leave YouTube until that series is done. I would regret it forever if I didn't finish that, because ultimately it's been a dream of mine since I was a kid. And yeah, sometimes following your passion, that aspiration that we talked about, that doesn't mean you're gonna be like wildly successful. You know, it doesn't mean you're gonna make a shit ton of money. That's not what that means at all. At least the way I see it is it's accepting that you might not be as set as you probably could. It's like optimizing Minecraft, right? Like you can be the player that goes in, you know, making all your farms. You just want to expand and grow and be as optimized as possible, getting as many resources as possible. And maybe that speaks to you, the nature of growth and expansion and just having as much as you can. Maybe that's palatable. But to me, I prefer the other route, going after the thing that you're passionate about, pursuing it every day, even when it's hard and even when you're not making as much money as you could. You know, there is sacrifice with these things, but when you love something that much, you're willing to sacrifice for it. You're willing to, like NF has a song where there's a line in there. Someone will know the line I'm talking about. I cannot remember it off the top of my head, but it's something like doing what you really love and taking a pay cut. And like, I'd rather do what I really love and take the pay cut than do what everyone else is doing and maybe have some more money, right? I feel like there's this growing idea, especially amongst young people who watch content creators and influencers, right, online, who are just so rich and just like flaunting their money. It seems like they're just untouchable and they can do anything. And I think it is important to recognize, is the aspiration, for example, if you want to be a content creator, is your aspiration being a content creator because you think it's easy money and you want to make a lot of money? Because let me tell you, it's not as easy as it looks 90% of the time. And you're not going to make as much as you think you will 90% of the time. Or are you doing it because you really love it? Really feel like that's the space where you're going to excel. That's where you can use as many of your innate talents and abilities as you can. Is that why you're doing it? And again, I'm not saying any of this to shame people who do something for money. It's like, if you want or need money, that's not a bad thing. I feel like oftentimes there's I don't know what the word is, but there's like this attitude surrounding the idea that wanting more money is inherently bad, and it's not bad, you know? Sure, money doesn't buy happiness, but it can make it easier to be happy. We all have basic needs and things that would make our lives easier, right? But it certainly isn't everything. And with how monetized and farmed the internet is becoming, you know, content creators, clip farming, or AI channels, and just everything, you know, the average Mr. Beast video, right? Pokemon cards, fucking everything nowadays is about like money or sex and money. I do think it's important for people, especially younger people growing up surrounded by all of this and having all of this information just shoved in their faces constantly, all of this content shoved in their faces constantly, to recognize that sometimes it's not all about money. Sometimes you will be happier if you take the route that is a bit riskier, probably means you'll get paid less, but also means you could do something you really, really enjoy, something you really, really, truly love and have a passion for. Something that years down the line, you'll look back and be thankful that you did. You know, it's weird. I don't know if anyone will be able to relate to this, but I get this weird feeling sometimes when I finish a big project that I've been working on, right? Whether it's an episode of Redacted or just a big video that I've been working on. Sometimes if I've been working on something for so long and then I release it, I will be hit with this. It's almost like a wave of melancholy and apathy when it's finally done and it's out there, right? The project is done. The thing you've been working on for months you're now no longer working on it. And it's weird, you know, it's weird. And I think a big part of why, speaking for myself here, I may feel that way after I release a massive video is because you put so much of your heart and soul into it, so much time, so much thought. Now that thing is gone, now that you're not working on it anymore, where does that thought go? I'll find myself being simultaneously burnt out and also just hungry for the next thing because I just want to keep making stuff. And again, part of that is very unhealthy. A lot of this lifestyle of being a content creator, in my instance, is not healthy. But I also find myself being very thankful that I feel that way because it means I care. It means I care so much and I'm so involved and passionate about the thing that I'm working on that it almost hurts when it's done. This is probably the most vulnerable and just open and deep that I've been on YouTube ever. This is probably not going to be a normal thing, and I'm sure this is very weird if you're coming from the Destiny channel and seeing this video. But I think it's important, man, and I think someone might need to hear this. This is just a long-winded, TLDR way of me saying, if you have a passion for something, if you have an aspiration, try and do it. It sounds silly, but like Tyler, the Creator, in one of his songs says, ain't nobody could fulfill me like this music shit does, right? If you have that feeling, be grateful, because not everyone does.